Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Dear John Show on Sunday, the 25th of February 2018. I needed to clear the screen that time, guys. Sorry about that. You look at me, unshaved, everything. I've been in workout. What a long day. 16 hours I've been on the hoof today, and couldn't wait to get back to you guys. I've just literally come in the door this minute to get this all set up. But it's worth every minute. I love being with you guys. I'm going to start the show by saying a big thank you to Facebook for this wonderful platform they provide us with each week. And a big thank you especially to Charlotte Rains, Christine Barker and Tracy Woodhead for all they do. Christine on the show, direct, and Charlotte and Tracy in the background with the meeting and greeting and the interactivity they create between everybody. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, unfortunately, we have our quote for the week ahead. We have that at the end of the show, don't we? We have Christine Barker with her beautiful voice to your poetry. Hopefully I can connect live with Paul Griffiths. He's a poet from the Wirral. And we might get to listen to Paul's poem I read in one of the groups the other day. It's a wonderful poem called The Taste of Life. This is from the man that wrote one of the most beautiful, brilliant poems I've ever read, which was called I Nailed Jesus to the Cross. That was a hell of a poem, Paul, and you know it. But I'm letting these know it too. I have a strange story as well that I found in the Daily Mirror today from during the week. And I don't usually read newspapers, but it was a long day today. A Nina Thilo review. Hopefully Nina can be on. It's a happy birthday to her dad, but it wasn't nearly so happy when he had a crash in the car this morning, the day of his birthday. But Nina has informed me that her dad is okay after the incident, but the car isn't in a good way. Thank God her dad is. And Rosanna Eastman, if you're on the show tonight with us, can you do me a favour and please type in some links to your music and your lyrics so that our audience can visit you there. And if they can get you there, they can get some. So if you can get some feedback, or they can just enjoy some of the wonderful music I've listened to on pieces I've actually come across on your homepage on Facebook. So where will we get started today? I think maybe I should start directly with hello Elizabeth, hello Charlotte. Wow. I'm gonna start hopefully with Christine, but not yet. I don't have Christine at the minute, and I hope I can get somebody, because if I can't get anybody, I don't have a show. Does that sound brilliant? Nina, let me invite you, my dearest, so we can try and connect your phone to this. I can get you on that one, but I can't get you anywhere. So. Nina, can you type something on the screen so I can give you an invite into the show? I may be able to connect you that way, because at the moment we don't have a camera for you. Hello, Paul Griffiths. Paul, you come in just in time. You might be able to start us off, because I don't have my residential reader at the moment. And I've just been talking about your poem, actually. One, I Nailed Jesus to the Cross. But that's not the one you're doing tonight. You're doing The Taste of Life, the one I read the other day. But I mean, I Nailed Jesus to the Cross is a hard poem to follow, Paul. Wow, that was just absolutely awesome. And I'd love these guys to actually read it and hear it, because it was narrated twice, wasn't it? Hank Buchma and Alan Johnson actually both narrated the poem. Well, it was an absolutely wonderful poem, that was. Still is. But The Taste of Life. So, until Christine comes along, I'm going to have to... There's Nina there, so let's see if I can... Can't even invite you, Nina. What's happened? I don't believe this. This is absolutely nuts. Can I? Nina. I'll have a go at it this way, guys. So just bear with me a second. Invite Nina Thilo. Invited. I've sent you an invite, Nina. That should ask for permissions from you for your cam use and your audio use, so you can come on with me. Add Nina. No answer from video live guest, which means your permissions on your phone for Facebook or on your computer are not there, Nina. Wow, Oh my God, we're in real trouble tonight. Real trouble tonight, let me tell you. Wow. Paul, come my lad. Come and join me. Bring Paul in, it says. And hopefully Christine can make it. Missing a few tonight. It's because the show is so late on coming on, is what it is. So I know what the delay is. But I'll give Paul a ring anyway and see if you can add Paul in. Get Paul to come on with me. It's telling me now, adding Paul. Hello, Olivia York. Lovely to see you in as well. And Tracy Woodhead. Marina. Hello, my dear. Mila. Mila Della Rosa. Nice to see you, Mila. That has taken its time, lad. Hello, Julie Peterson. Lovely seeing you here, Julie. Julie, gotta get one of your poems onto this show one of these weekends, please. And I'd love if you would come on and read it too. It would sound absolutely beautiful. Am I still live, guys? Can someone just let me know if I'm still live? If you can still hear me, if I'm still getting through. Hello, Marna. It just keeps telling me it's adding Paul, and Paul has disappeared. Try him again. You just press the accept button, Paul. I'll be able to get you on the show. Well, my little story that I found on the paper today. I mean, strange things happen, and they've happened throughout our lifetimes. And I'm sure they're going to always continue to happen, no matter what goes down. Hello, Alexandra. How are you, my dear? Christine, thank God. I was giving up hope. I was nearly getting a rope then. Here's my short, strange story. We've heard of strange things falling out of the sky, but this is a beauty. How about a shark? Yeah, you heard me. A shark fell out of the sky. Don't ask. I have no idea. All I have is a story. Well, a shark fell out of the sky into a garden in Kent. It would be Kent. It's always down south, isn't it? Nothing exciting like that happens in Warrington. I don't know if it happens in Wirraleigh, Paul, but it doesn't happen in Warrington. James Hill was in the kitchen making a cup of tea when his dad, Colin, discovered a small spotted cat shark in their garden. The pair believe a struggling bird may have dropped the dead shark. Now, what gets me is the cat shark is also known as a dogfish. A dogfish? You having a laugh? Yeah, and can grow up to 3 feet. I'd love to have the picture to show you all of this cat shark, dogfish, whatever on earth it is. And this guy from Kent said the shark was 2 foot long. It was in quite good condition. Man, it was dead. Quite good condition and it was dead. That's not too bad, is it? I think it might have been dead for a few days, he said. I'm sure it would have been dead for a few days. A fall from the sky. Good God Almighty. I mean, you couldn't make half of these stories up. You really and truly couldn't. Christine, where's your camera? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Where is your camera? You've no camera tonight, Christine. What is going on tonight? Oh, Lord. I don't believe this. Right, let me get Christine in here again. Christine. Can I get you? Oh, I don't believe this. Approve. Add. Adding. No answer. Christine, we have to do what we done the last time, sweetie. I'm going to send you an invitation, girl. Christine Barker. They won't let me send you the info. I don't believe this. This is absolutely crazy tonight. What is happening? Cross that out. Let's see what happens. I want to add. Where have you gone now? You've disappeared on me altogether now. Add. Take that one off. Invite Christine Barker. Invited. Thank goodness for that. Done. Christine is invited. Sorry, you had trouble getting. Oh my God. Now I still have no camera for you. No, Christine, what's happened? I can't get you home. I don't know what's happened. Where is your camera? You're not on. Paul has gone off camera. You're off camera. Oh my God Almighty. This is a nightmare night tonight. This is absolutely a nightmare night. Oh man. Take that one out. Take that one out. Oh, this is nuts tonight. This is absolutely nuts. Oh my goodness. Christine, I've got no way of getting you on. None whatsoever. Your camera has disappeared. We never have problems like this, really, do we? Christine invited, it says. And still. Did you receive an invite, Christine? You're there. I know you're there. No? Still not let me. I've invited you, but it's not come back as though accepted. Oh man, I don't believe this. God almighty, it's been a long, long day. And I ain't got nothing here to do. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is absolutely nuts. And I don't even have a poem to read for anybody. I don't have Nina on a camera. I don't, oh my goodness. I don't know what's happening either, Nina. Camera is on, a mic is on, Christine said. So, Christine, approve. Add. Right. I've added you, Christine. I know. And I've just added it. And it can't be my approve. Add. No answer from the live video guest. It's just telling me there's no answer from your end. Should I close this and start up again? I don't know what's happening, guys. But I got 14 people on my live feed. I've got a sad face from Charlotte. You want to feel what my face is like on the other side, Charlotte? Wow. Oh my God, I don't believe this. I really and truly don't believe this. I've not come across this before. This is absolutely nuts. Oh my God. Where do I start? Where do I go? Wade, you don't have a camera either, my friend. Diane Reid Burgess has a camera. Ed Clinton, Mila De La Rosa, Tracy Woodhead. They're the only ones with cameras that are tied up in this tonight. And oh my God. What have you done, Facebook? I've just been giving you loads of praise. I'll try starting over, Charlotte. That is a brilliant suggestion. Absolutely brilliant suggestion. So, Nina. I'll try again and I'll try and add you, Nina. Adding. When it says adding, it tells me it's calling. There we go. Nina. Thank God somebody is in the world. I thought I was all alone here. Oh my God.
Hello.
How are you? How's your dad?
Yeah, he's fine, thank you. He's
Oh,
it takes more than that to take him off his feet, luckily.
Good. Thank goodness for that. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Nina, had a great chat with you the other day. And I'm going to start in the place. I'm going to start at the finish where we finished practically on our talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, because we were saying to each other on the phone, these guys that are pinching poetry and everything, these plagiarists, need to be named and shamed. They need to be pinned up. Snapshots of their profile should be blasted all over Facebook to make sure they aren't taken out of the system. Because these guys, all of us, we work our hearts out to get some poetry out and share it among each other for someone else to come along and claim fame. For we're not looking for fame, we're just trying to share our poetry, the words we have from inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you found a guy called Nigel Clarkson.
I did.
Yeah, the Panda Bear Clarkson, just to make sure they get the right one. Look at the profile. Panda Bear Clarkson, yeah, a right panda bear he was. Absolutely.
He was innocent as a panda bear.
Say again, Nina.
If only he was as innocent as a panda bear.
Yes, exactly. Too true. Maybe we needed to give him some eucalyptus.
No.
Might have done a bit of good, eh? What do you think? Listen, I've just had a text message come through, just to let you know, because you're in the UK as well, Nina.
Yeah.
There's just been a big explosion in Leicester, and no cause of it has been explained yet. I've just had that in on the text message has come through. from one of the viewers who views on Twitter, yeah? So if I get any more news from that from Dave about what's happened at Leicester, I'll keep it going. But wow, it's not all starting off again, surely to God. They must need a break by now. It's getting absolutely crazy out of
Yeah.
hand all over the world. But this is not about Leicester. This is about Nina Tilo and Nina's review. God, do you know what? It was a hard job getting you here, woman. It was a deadly hard job getting you here. I explained to Christine, the reason I ask, like yourself, Christine, Marna, to come on. You guys do so much and give so much encouragement to so many people out there. It's nice to show the person is a real person that does all that, not just
Yeah.
a keyboard warrior on the other side of a screen. That they're real
Yeah.
people. I mean, you've got a lovely group going, Poetry in the Blood. Tell us, what made you start a poetry group?
I think for me, poetry is exactly that. It's poetry. It's not advertising. It's not preaching. It's not trying to convert somebody to something. And all I wanted was a group, a page, a feed that was just pure poetry and nothing else. You know, I've been in many groups. I've only been in Facebook groups, poetry groups, for a year, and I've been in some fantastic ones, which I'm still in, and I've been in some not quite so fantastic ones. And yeah, I think for me, I just like to see a page of pure poetry and nothing else. And the way to do that was create it myself, really.
Beautiful. Yeah. I'm part of your group. I joined your group, didn't I?
You
And
did.
I've gone in there, and I've gotten some beautiful comments and some very uplifting stuff from some of the
Well,
poets.
that's
What
another
kills
reason.
me though, what
Sorry?
kills me, Nina, is what kills me is I can't get into the groups often enough. When I do, I'm sneaking in to rob a poet. I don't mean rob a poet. Sorry, I got slated for that. To go to a poet and ask them, can they read their poem on the show, or can we read the poem on the show through Christine or myself?
Yeah.
So I don't get time to go through the poetry. I do read a lot of poetry. God, I'm nearly 16 hours a day on the phone, on the
Yeah.
Facebook
Imagine.
itself, the poetry.
Yeah.
And I mean, it pays for me in the sense the enjoyment I get out of bringing these poets live on air and their
Yeah.
work being heard, because there's places your work doesn't get heard, and
Yeah.
going on the camera does help.
Yeah.
I think it
At
helps a
the
lot.
moment,
Yeah.
I'm only posting in my own group and on my own page, and that's it's not something that's going to be long term, but the group is taking probably a lot more time than I thought it would, actually. And it's been great. It's been brilliant, and I absolutely love it. But I think I did underestimate quite what it took to run a poetry group on Facebook. But no, it's brilliant, and I will get round to posting in other groups again soon. I promise, Janice and everybody else. I like the interaction with other people as well. I mean, you know, I'm fortunate enough that we've got over 500 members already, and the group's only been up for, I think it's about 10 or 12 weeks. And everybody's very interactive, and that's what I was going to say. I want the group to be interactive amongst themselves, and we said that the other day, didn't we, when we spoke?
Yes. Well, we were saying about some of the groups have 20,000, 40,000, 100,000.
Yeah,
And
and then
yet, when you look at
a
it,
poem can
there's
go
not one
past.
comment.
No,
There's not one
exactly. A
comment.
poem can go past in the feed, and there not be one like, one comment, or anything. And I find that really sad, because I know, you know, and again, we spoke about this the other day. I know there are people that say, "Oh, I don't put my poems out there for people to comment or like or love." Of course you do. Well, why else would you share it? If you didn't want some sort of acknowledgement for what you've written, you would just write it and put it in a book somewhere and put it away in the cupboard.
Yeah, stick it
And
under the bed, the shoebox. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And I feel that everybody, if they've taken the time and trouble to post it somewhere in my group or wherever it might be, then they deserve some sort of recognition, even if it is just the Facebook thumbs up or the heart or whatever. But more importantly, I want people to comment. I want people to give feedback. And it seems to be working, touch wood.
Got you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I'm on the same side as you. The interaction is so important, and I don't mean just for reading each other's poetry. Through the interaction, people get to know each other, and this show proves it in its own little way. The way people connect here, everybody's saying hello to each other here. They've never met each other, but they're connecting.
I've just realised I can see an awful lot of names that I recognise going up in the feed. So thank you, Andrew, for inviting all my friends to watch. My husband's obviously been a little bit sneaky and invited my entirety of Facebook friends to watch.
Well, I've just had a newcomer come in now, Jan Hughes, and she's just said,
Yes,
good show so
she's
far. And they have a talented poet on there too. Nice interview. There you go.
She's biased. She's one of my besties.
Yes. And this brings new people to this show as well, Nina. And
Right.
the next poet up or the next poem read has a new reader, a new listener to the poem. You know, and this, I want connectivity as well with poets. I want them to get to know each other. We're all doing the same work. And
Yeah.
as Maxwell said just a little bit up further there, if you see Maxwell's comment,
Yeah.
it's nice because it seems publishers these days block out a lot of good stuff worthy of publishing. There's
Yeah,
really no
absolutely.
forum for recitation, which is very true.
Mm.
We need more forums for the recitation of poetry. Poetry being recited is beautiful. It's
Yeah.
absolutely delicious.
Yeah. It's the way people are going as well now, because that can't be plagiarised as easily as the written word.
Yes.
So people are doing spoken word poetry. Well, probably not quite as much as written at the moment, but it's certainly heading in that direction.
Oh, it's gaining pace rapidly.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking
I'm not sure if it's
across the
something
internet.
I'll ever do, because I really don't like being on camera.
But that wasn't my next question, actually. You just took the
Yeah.
next question out of my mouth. Are you going to read a poem for me? But I guess I got to know. I'll settle for that.
I have got a couple lined up.
Have you?
You can either have a funny or you can have a serious, or both. It's entirely up to you guys. I've got one of each lined up.
Do you have the one lined up about Andrew and his DIY?
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
we're top, my dear.
That's karma. No, I haven't got that one lined up, unfortunately, but I have got
Oh,
one. I've got about.
I've got it
David
right
Seaside.
here. Look at that. Would you believe it? Andrew's
What?
poem. I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
I won't tell you what he called me when I read it out to him. It wasn't a very nice name, but you know, if the cat fits. But yeah, I've got A Day at the Seaside, which I think was one of the first ones you ever commented on, and you said you've had many of those. And then I've got another one, Wings of an Angel. So readers, listeners' choice, really, whichever one. You know, there's a funny and there's a more serious one.
Do both of them.
They'll get bored of me.
Nah, just a whole hour of the show, you know.
All right.
Do
Do you want me
forward
to
to
do
you.
one now?
I'm the one that's going to be in front of the camera for the rest of the night, girl, you know. Pigs what they're going to be like with me.
Do you want me to do one now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this one it goes on a bit, I'll warn you. This one is
Yeah.
called Shall We Go to the Seaside, Dear?
I
That
know what
moment
to
when that moment when the wife suggests a day trip to the sea. A picnic on the beach, she says, the kids and you and me. We'll have to take the dog with us, he'll feel left out at home. He gives me quite a baleful look while chewing on his bone. I've rammed the car to breaking point with all the stuff we'll need. The wife plans like the SAS, a military type of breed. Not sure we'll use the climbing gear, the ropes and carabiners, tucked neatly in beside pork pies and bottles of Ribena. We set off hale and hearty, full of joy and larks ahead. At least that's how I'm spinning it. In truth, I'm full of dread. From bitter past experience, these days are usually cursed, with one of us at least requiring doctors and a nurse. The journey sets my teeth on edge, each shattered nerve is frayed. If one more song is sung today, my mind will go astray. And someone needs to own up to a methane-fueled attack. The dog's been blamed, I'm not convinced it's coming from the back. The kids insist on I spy, not that easy while en route. The smell of canine vomit rises slowly from the boot. We're nearly there, the wife chirps up, attempting to appease, amidst the cries of hunger, thirst, and needing to go wheeze. And there my salty nemesis on horizon line ahead. Once parked up, we all disembark and pitch our pop-up tent. We've emptied bowels and bladders, and the dog's perked up at last from half a can of Lucozade and chewing vergeside grass. In record time, the kids are changed and off to brave the sea. Now time to sit in stripy chair and have some time for me. But not before I've hammered in a windbreak round our patch. The wife insists on privacy. With mallet, I'm dispatched. Just as I ram the last pole home, an ice cream van arrives. Alas, my children spot it, and they stampede to my side. A fortune spent on cones and flakes, my work is not yet done. I have to build sand castles now beneath the sweltering sun. They're not content with one between, I'm told they need one each. At this rate, I'll use half the sand along this blessed beach. But by the time I've finished, old King Arthur would be proud. And rather smug, I look around to see I've drawn a crowd. It's not my skills in architecture everyone's admiring. The dog has popped his leg and filled the moat, it is transpiring. One child thinks it's hilarious, the other's apoplectic. We watch the turrets tumble down. The dog has gone and wrecked it. To defuse the situation, I rush off and buy a kite. We'll skip along the seafront as it glides along in flight. My offspring pull a tad too hard and send it into spirals. It whacks a lady on the head, the video's now gone viral. We take off to the water's edge at quite a rate of knots, pretending it is not our kite which has her seeing spots. But as we hide amongst the waves, a crisis to avoid, in front of us, when kite in mouth, the dog has just arrived. I try to shoo the hound away, then look in utter horror, for caught up in the trailing string, the lady's had to follow. He's dragged her feet first down the beach, she's turned a shade of puce. I crawl out of the sea to try and offer an excuse. Then from her prone position I can see that she is laughing, and others who have jogged behind are frantically photographing. I look at where their lenses point and see a crab attached. It's hanging on quite tightly to a place it shouldn't latch. In fear of losing crown jewels, I am quick to extricate. My whimpering has unnerved the dog, he thinks I'm in a state. The trusty pooch leaps in my arms, he has to rescue me, despite the fact he nearly drowns me headfirst in the sea. Then off he runs, a soggy mess to terrorise a child. He licks its new cornetto and the parents have gone wild. I look around to see the kids have drifted off to sea. They're waving from a dinghy half a mile away from me. The Coast Guards give a lecture as they bring the children back. I pop the ruddy dinghy and the kids scream that it's flat. And as the RNLI head off back towards their base, just sitting on their boat stern is a furry little face. The dog retrieved, the children safe. I'm now a nervous wreck. The wife wakes up from sleeping, claiming this the best day yet. My torment deepens looking at her red from head to toe. The fact that she has burnt to crisp will be my fault, you know. This day is at an end now, and relief has got me weeping. I load up fractious children in the hope they'll soon be sleeping. The dog is snoring in the boot, exhausted and at peace. I'll be hoovering out the grains of sand for the next 6 months at least.
Nina, next time you're going on holiday, let us all know. We have to watch you guys in action. Definitely. That's one hell of a holiday, girl.
It was only a day. It was only a day to the sea. It wasn't even a holiday.
You know what? You've just taken Palmer's crown live on the Dear John show. Wow.
Thank you. I will take that and I will run.
That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh,
wow. Do you know, I know I read it with my voice, my own voice in my own mind, but listening to the poet actually read it herself is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. What a difference.
I admire Christine so much, because to read somebody else's work, even if you've had time to read it through and practice it, we all know how a poem is supposed to flow when we write it, but somebody else doesn't necessarily. But she does an amazing job with every piece that she reads.
Yes, I second that totally, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I was blessed that Christine came along when she did
That you
to the
found her,
show.
yeah. Yeah, hang on to
Absolutely.
her.
Oh,
Yeah,
big time.
hang on to that one.
Absolutely big time. I know you're in Berlin, by the way, Christine, so don't even try hiding. I know where Berlin is. It's in France, isn't it? Yeah, I know where you are.
I've got the other one if you want, the slightly more sinister one. If people want to hear it.
Yes, of course we want to hear it.
Okay, this one's Wings of an Angel, so I know it appeals to you straight away because you like your angels, don't you? Okay, she paid the ultimate sacrifice for the sin of falling in love, sent down to be his guardian from the heavens up above, protect him and help guide him, steer his path to one more pure, were the tasks that she'd been given, but she fell to his allure. He'd been erring on the dark side, but seemed not so far astray that the angels couldn't save him, so they sent her on her way. But his blackened soul was hidden, and he knew he's wrong from right. Way beyond the reach of goodness, he would never see the light. First she watched him from a distance, saw the choices that he made. Then she showed herself, came known to him, and by his side she stayed. He knew all along her secret what her purpose was and why, but her wings were what he wanted. They were all he had in sight. From the citadel of Hades, with but one thing on his mind, he had waited for his angel, for he knew she'd come in time. Hers were wings of whitest feather, she was purity to extreme. Was it guilt which pierced him briefly when he heard her anguished scream? After laying with his angel, while she slept, he took a blade, cast from dragon's blood and diamond, he had cut her where she laid. When the moon gave way to daylight, she awoke to feel the pain, but which hurt her most, the losing of her wings, or of this man.
Wow. Where in God's name did you get that from?
I have no idea.
Wow.
Like I said to you the other day, it can be a word, it can be something I see, it can be something I hear, and even when I start writing, I have no idea where my poems are going. They write themselves.
Wow. If that's written itself, Nina, you're giving away an awful lot of credit from yourself. You're taking a lot of credit away from yourself. That is absolutely monstrous. They're the kind of poems I actually write in my comments, masterpiece. And I don't say that very often. But, I mean, this is a poem that will be read in 20, 30, 40 years' time. And be seen as poets.
I guess some things, I think that's the beauty of a lot of poetry, actually, is it's timeless, it's ageless.
Yes.
It is, I mean, obviously, if you're referencing something, if you put a name or a particular situation into something, then that will not mean something in time. But these general ones with angels and all that kind of thing, they are going to be timeless.
Yes, absolutely, because no matter what generation comes and goes, there's still going to be questions. And they're going to be very similar questions to the questions we have asked down through our generations and the generations before us. And it'll develop. And in poetry, it's like a fashion. I mean, you've got things coming out in fashion now that were out in the 70s you never thought you'd see again. Yeah. But look at them now. They're back in high fashion. In 40 years on, nearly 50 years on.
I wish I'd discovered it sooner. It obviously wasn't meant to be. For whatever reason, poetry didn't come to me until last year. I had that conversation with you, didn't I? I've only been writing poetry for a year.
Well, that brings me into my next one. Because I love the story of where you started with your poetry. Your poetry actually started with children's poetry, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
And listen, before you say anything, children's poetry, and we listen to a poem like this in such a short time. The one you've just read?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I worked as a learning support assistant in a junior school, and we were just doing poetry one day in the class, and I've always been a little bit on the silly side, and I wrote a poem with the children on my table, and they snitched on me, and they told the teacher that I'd written one. So she made me read it out, and bless their hearts. I mean, they're very very easy to please. They were only 6 and 7, but the class went into complete uproar, and you know, it was basically we want more, we want more. So I just it just happened really, and then obviously a lot more came out, but it wasn't until kind of February of last year that I actually started to write adult stuff, and I don't even know where that came from. I have no idea. I think possibly one of my first poems was something a bit cathartic, and it just kind of snowballed from there. Really, I don't know. It just is. I just hold the pen.
So, if that's where you're at now, in 3 short years, 3 very short years, or
Not
less
2 years.
even,
2 years.
2 years. So in
Yeah.
2 years you're at, what or do you have plans for the future?
Oh, I guess like anybody who writes poetry, I would like to publicise them. I've got the children's poetry book out already. Bless him, my husband helped me a great deal with that, so he deserves an awful lot of credit for that as well. I do keep getting asked, and it's really sweet of people. Literally about an hour before we came on, I had a friend message me and say, I really want your poems to come out in a book because I want to read them all again. All my friends, everybody has been really, really supportive, and it's lovely, but it's not something that happens in 5 minutes. It's quite a long, lengthy process, and
Yes.
picking the ones that you want to go in a book is not easy when you've written. I have no idea how many poems I've written. So to pick the one, even the children's poems, it was difficult to know which ones to put to one side for the first book and which ones to put forward. And so I think possibly the funnies, I think possibly the comedy ones will be coming out next in a book. Fingers crossed.
I'm just looking at, again, I'm looking at the comment. The comments are flying up here. And I can't, this is why I love Tracy and Charlotte being on the other side
I'm not
of
looking.
the camera. Because there's beautiful comments going up. It's good to have a support system, Nina. Many poets don't have. That's Charlotte Rains and Ed Clinton. And, yes, Poetry in Motion. You are Poetry in Motion in itself. I mean, those two you just run by us. Absolutely. Wow. Come on. And then I've got Christine there. Yeah, can't believe you were so new to poetry, for you write amazingly well. Go for publishing your work. You deserve it, girl. It's like you said, it doesn't take 5 minutes, it's a lot of work. And I got a lady on here, Livia York. Livia's asking me, who's the lady I'm speaking to? Livia, it's Nina Thilo. And you can actually look for a group on Facebook, Poetry in the Blood. Livia is a writer as well. She's published a great book, Rising of the Phoenix, I think it was called. I might have got it wrong. Livia will let me know in a second.
Yeah.
I can't remember the full name of the book. I should. Brilliant book that she's written. And she also does poetry alongside. But people are now asking, who is this lady that's on? And that's what I want to create. People asking who's who. And getting to know
I'm out in the open now.
You're out in the open now, Nina. Do you remember the first time, what was it, 6, maybe 7, 8 weeks ago? And I asked, would you come on? And you, oh, I couldn't. Oh, I wouldn't. Oh, no.
I think I physically hid behind a curtain at the time.
You did. I would believe that without a shadow of doubt. But I'm glad you got out from behind the curtain. I'm glad Andrew took the curtains down, or did he try to put the rail back up?
Oh God, don't. Let's not go there.
We can't let him lift that DIY down, you know this, don't you? He can't live
I
it down.
banned him. He's upstairs. He's not allowed
Is he?
downstairs. Under pain of death, he is not allowed to show his face downstairs.
Oh, there's the name of the book, Rise, the Abused Child of the Phoenix. Yeah.
Ah, well done,
If
Olivia.
you get a chance to just even look at this one, Nina, because I know it would be something that would appeal to the way you write and read. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's at www.oliviayork.com. Yeah.
I'll look it up.
You can
Yeah, thank
preview
you.
there. But like I said, I'm looking at the comments going up and down this page, and I'm delighted I've started up the reviews of the poets because poets are interesting poets. Maybe they just didn't know how to connect, and maybe this is just the way to
Even
guide.
like you said to me when we were talking on the phone the other day, it's fantastic to get to know. Even down to hearing someone's voice, I think you get more of an idea of who that person is, and obviously you're asking me questions and I'm answering them, but I think, you know, we only give a certain amount of ourselves away in our writing. It's like I said to you the other day, I've written pieces where I was a nurse in a World War II military hospital out in the field, and I had people messaging me saying, "Oh my goodness, what a hard life you had. That must have been an awful conditions for you." And I had to really politely say, "Oh, thank you very much, but I'm only 45." It wasn't me.
I'd have told them I use Nivea.
It wasn't me. It was, you know, it was a poem. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't genuine. But that's the other side of poetry, I think, is people do, if they really enjoy it, they get so involved in it that it becomes part of them as they read it, and that's what poetry should do. And I do find it really sad that it is so understated. You know, it's almost sneered at, really, poetry. People, if you say the word poetry, you instantly get this, ugh. And it's such a shame.
I've said it before, Nina. It's the ignorance of not understanding poetry. I've had so many people have come across that have said to me, "Oh, not poetry."
Exactly.
I was in a warehouse working when I'd done a lot of my poetry. Very busy place. And that's where I wrote most of my stuff. Because I could forget about the crowd, you know?
Yeah.
And I got stuck into the pen and paper. I used to leave my A4 page book on the table. And many times I come back and have people who denounce poetry actually reading it and saying to me later, "Did you write that?" No, mate, it just on the page itself, you know? It just happened. So you're a security guard and you write poetry. You get all this kind of stuff, you know? Well, you can be anybody and write poetry.
Absolutely. I think it's the ignorance of the unknown as well. They just assume that poetry is going to be Shakespeare. And that's hard going, it's heavy, it's, you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Or maybe to the other extreme, they think it is Pam Ayres, and maybe Pam Ayres isn't for them, you know? I don't know. But there are, you said to me the other day, one of the questions you were going to ask me is, what is your writing genre? I don't have one. I write right across the board. I write comedy, I write dark, I won't say erotica, but, you know, maybe slightly racy poems. I did send you a couple, didn't I, to try and make you blush. But yeah, I'm not a one-trick pony, and I can't be pigeonholed because I don't have a genre that I write about. If I think about it and I want to write about it, it just happens.
I'm just going to tell the audience, she's not telling lies. I've read a lot of her poetry. She doesn't have an actual genre you can nail. Hello, Trisha McCord. Lovely to see you, darling. What you may call it? It's as you said, that's the question I was going to ask. You took my question away. Now I'm glad. What are your hopes for the group, Nina?
John, just bear with me a minute.
Yeah.
Look.
Hello, Andrew. How are you?
That serves him right. What? Sorry. What was the question?
Your question again, yeah. What are your hopes for Poetry in the Blood for the future?
I think as it started really is that the group will be interactive amongst themselves, that they'll encourage each other, that they'll take the time to read. You know, I know we're all time short. I appreciate that. Every single person in this world wishes they had more time to do what they wanted rather than what they had to. But I do find it really, really sad when people do what I call carrier pigeon posting, where they fly past a group, drop a poem off and carry on moving. And I just think it's sad if they can't take 5 minutes, even just to read one poem. And they're not all lengthy pieces. You know, if it's a haiku or something a little bit shorter, take the time to read it, give it a thumbs up, or, you know, take 2 seconds to write a comment underneath it, and just show that person that what they've written is worth reading, and it's been enjoyable. And that's what I want the group to do. I want them all to encourage each other, and yeah, just be a community, really, I suppose.
Yes, that's exactly where this show started out, just to build a community of people together, somewhere to go on Sunday for an hour and just throw the world away for that hour. Just let it go.
And it's lovely.
You've got to return to it when it's finished. And
yeah,
I mean, we've all seen the comments that come in.
To this show. This show on a Sunday is, and I've roped a friend in as well. I don't know if she's watching or not, but if she doesn't get to watch it live, which she can't, don't look at me like that. if she doesn't get to watch it live, then she will definitely watch it on catch up. And it's just an hour or an hour and a half of shutting the world out, basically, and something a little bit different. Yeah.
We're going to hear poetry tonight. You've heard 2 beautiful poems from you. Christine, I think, has 5, maybe 6.
Yeah,
but
I go. People
I have
are
her
going to
back
be bored with me.
But we're going to have this poetry, and we have so much diversity in all of that poetry. It's not the same poetry all the way through. There's a different genre in each and every piece that goes through. And I mean, I love looking back at the recording to make sure everything is in order, when it's recorded. I love recording. And I love re-listening to the poets and the poetry. And I will sometimes actually go on the laptop at the same time and search for the poem that's being read on the page I've gotten it from the poet, and read it along with whether the poet is reading the poem or Christine is reading the poem or whatever, and I'll go down the poem again. And it's a lovely feel. This gives me so much joy just to be in front of the camera and get everybody together. It's a great uplift for the whole week,
And that's your reason for starting this group. That's why you started this group. And I guess to a certain extent, that's the reason I started Poetry in the Blood. Was it's giving people another platform to share. You know, there are 1,000,001 poetry groups out there. There's some absolutely beautiful ones, as I said at the beginning, and people have the option of putting their work across hundreds and thousands of people, actually, if they choose to put. I mean, at one stage I was in something ridiculous like 15 groups. I've cut it down a lot, and I've chosen the few that I'm happy to stay in. And I've got my reasons for staying in those groups, because they were the supportive ones. They were the ones that gave me a good feel. They were the ones that always gave you a comment and some feedback. And that's why I stayed with those groups.
But again, you gave that feedback to those poets as well. And that's what it's all about. If we all get feedback and uplift, the improvement in what we are trying to do is absolutely immense.
Totally, yeah. And, if people, I mean, in the guidelines for the group, it says if someone has asked for comments, that's fine, but they need to be constructive. If you have an issue with whatever the person's written, privately message them. Don't put it in the group. I don't want to see any unpleasantness in the group. And believe you me, I stamp on it really quickly.
And it's the best way to deal with it. Stamp on it. As I've said before, I will go in with the axe and just chop. I don't have a problem doing that. I've told you this before. I will just chop. Damn the explanations. If they didn't give an explanation for what they've done, I'm damned if I'm going to give them an explanation for what I've done.
Absolutely,
they must understand
absolutely. I mean, I have to say, I have to say that so far, you know, there's been a couple of hiccups, but that's fine. You know, it's teething problems.
Yeah.
But so far, the group has been amazing, and people have been absolutely beautiful about commenting on, you know, and I keep. I don't want to be like, you know, mother hen and patting everybody on the head, because that's very patronising. But I really want to say, if there are people watching tonight and they're in the group, thank you for being supportive of each other, and for taking that, just those few moments to make a comment on someone's poem, because it is such a lovely thing to see, and it's what I want to see happening.
Absolutely. Nina Thilo, I'm going to say to you, thank you so much for coming on the Dear John show and promoting poetry the way you've promoted it. I mean, I'd make you an ambassador of poetry right now if I could. Well, I will anyway.
Thank you.
So what you make out of it. But the guidance, I see how you work in Poetry in the Blood. I'm lucky. I'm in that many groups. I'm not active in every group, but I'm lucky that I'm in so many groups that I have my hands on so many poets. And the work that I get in sometimes, some people will be thinking, you never read my work. It's not that I don't read your work. If they understood how much, my phone has gone on a go slow lately because there is that much clogged up in my messenger alone to come by. And I don't deliberately choose a poem that it'll be one I like. It's not for what I like, it's for what the poet wants to express.
Exactly.
It will always be that way. And don't get me wrong, there's one or two I will really like, but if somebody else has been there prior to, I'm sorry, it has to go back to the following week.
It's like I said to you on the phone the other day, you know, I at the moment, because there are only 514 or whatever it is in the group, I am able to read every single poem that's posted. I won't always like or comment on it. If it's something that doesn't appeal to me, that's fine, I'll just move on. You know, I can't blindly go round and putting a thumb up on every single post, because that I wouldn't be being true to myself, and I don't want to you know, give kind of false praise to someone if I don't feel it, if it hasn't spoken to me. But as much as
it doesn't
possible,
do the poets any good either.
Even if it's a single word, even if it's something like beautiful, intriguing, quirky, it's still feedback. I've still said something to that person about what they've written, and that takes seconds. So that's what my group's about, really. That's to me, that's what it's all about.
Well, I love your way of thinking, and I can see Poetry in the Blood being an absolute success. It is a brilliant success up to now. In 12 weeks, over
it's
500.
doing really well. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of
like
everybody that's involved.
I'll end on this now. It's like you said to me on the phone the other day. It's not quantity, it's quality.
It absolutely is. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you could have over 1,000, 1,500 in there now at the moment.
Well, we discussed figures the other day, didn't we? I mean, we are very selective, and I don't mean that to sound elitist in any way, shape, or form.
Every group now over the last 2 years has become so selective of the poets in the group.
But I just want pure poetry. That, you know, that to me, it shouldn't be hard to achieve, but there are times when it feels like it is. But we're getting there. They're a fantastic bunch of people, and I'm so glad that every single one of them is in the group. And over 80% of people in the group are contributing, which I think is a fantastic figure. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And Nina, I'm going to let you get ready for bed. I'm going to let you get ready for bed now. I mean, after the Second World War and being a nurse, you must need your sleep now.
I'm exhausted, John. And having my wings cut off.
Thanks a million for coming on and coming out to the forefront and getting out from behind the curtains.
I'm sorry if I've gone on too much, and I'm sorry if I've bored anybody.
No, because there's no such thing as going on too much. This is about getting to learn about each other, and we are real people. Now they know your group. Anybody from your group watching this tonight now knows Nina Thilo is a real person. She's not a keyboard warrior.
God, don't leave.
She's a real person.
They'll leave in
Nina,
masses.
thanks a million, girl. I
No
really
problem at
enjoyed the
all.
review.
I look forward
And,
to the rest of the show.
oh, thank you. Have a lovely night, you and Andrew. Good
Thank you.
night and
Yeah.
God bless.
Take
Give
care.
him, give him the drill. Go on, give him the drill.
No, no, God, no. I'm locking his toolbox up.
Night, night, Nina. Thanks a million
Bye.
again, hon. Have
No
a great
problem.
one. See you
Bye.
soon. Bye. Nina Thielo, ladies and gentlemen, and Christine. Thank God. We've got a camera. We've got a camera. Oh, thank God. Bring Christine Barker on camera. That's if she'll come now. I'm probably going to get roasted now, but I don't mind. Christine, you can roast me anytime. You can give out to me, and I will sit there like a little innocent puppy and take it all day. Shout at me, bark at me. I don't mind. I just hope it can connect now. Adding. Yeah, I think it's going to start ringing now. That's Nina Thielo, everybody. Wow.
Hey, John.
Christine, you're looking absolutely delightful. Oh, you know, I've got to explain to everybody. This is very unfair on Christine. Christine's an hour ahead of us. So if it must be 10 o'clock or more now at yours.
It is about 10:20 now, yes, but that's a
10:20
problem.
now. Wow. Christine, what a start to the show. Nobody had a camera, nothing was happening
I know.
whatsoever.
I don't know
I
what
was
was
having a
going on.
great
No
time.
idea, but wonderful to see Nina. She's such a lovely person and such a wonderful poet. Amazing.
Oh, fantastic personality. I've had,
Great view.
but since I've met her group, Poetry in the Blood, since I've met met her at the group, and I went into the group. What a lovely, lovely person. And I love the diversity of her poetry is absolutely unbelievable. As she said, there is no down there.
I do too. I think she's amazing, an amazing poet. I love her work, really do. Very, very exciting. Yeah. Very exciting young poet. Great.
I enjoy it all, every bit of it. But tell me one thing. I know I've sent you poetry this week, but did you bring one of yours?
You probably can't remember what you've sent me, can you?
I'm not going to lie.
Go on, be honest about it. Yeah, there is one of mine along with this group, but only as a support for Nina's piece at the end. So there's a Nina Thielo piece at the end that I want to read, but you've sent me 5 poets this time. So what would you like to hear first? Do you have a preference? Do you can't remember what you sent me, can you?
I think let me try and guess. I sent you one from Trisha McCord.
Yes.
I'll start with Trisha, because Trisha's brand new, yeah?
Yes, you did. Yes.
How's that? You okay with that?
Very good, yes. Very
Excellent.
good. Do you want to hear that one first?
I would love to hear that one first.
Okay,
Please.
we'll do that one first then. This is a new person here. I think she's listening today as well.
Yes.
I think so. And it's called Up, Down, Diagonals. Hidden in a plain sight, a place built just for me, levels of levels upon levels, a spot of every aspect of me, oddly askew, yet uniquely different, always a new view, but still the same. Meander your way here and there, fake walls, unseen doors, windows up, some down, keys and locks, stairs to where? But alas, the stairs do not move. Or do they? I never tell. I know all the ins and outs, diagonals and curves, up for an adventure. Dare darkened corners too? Lights in some areas, in rooms to view, a piece of me in each chamber. I am here, not there. There, but not here. Traverse the maze of haven. It's all in the mind, to see what you might find. I may be up, I may be down, I'm there somewhere around, just waiting to be found.
Wow.
Nice, huh?
This is what I was just saying to Nina at the end of the review that time. The thing I love about when we're in full swing and everybody's poetry is coming through is there's a difference in every single one
Yeah.
of the poems that come through. It's not as though we read all love poetry or all this type of poetry. It's every kind of poetry. And the appeal, I'm beginning to really, over the last few weeks, enjoy it spoken, as in Nina said, the spoken word rather than the written word. Yeah, I enjoy reading them, but listening to them being read is pure pleasure.
I think it's bringing a new dimension to poetry, and I really think it's opening up poetry to a new world that has not been there before. You know, when you're reading, I mean, we all love to have stories read to us as children, don't we? All of
Yes,
it, even as adults. It's lovely when somebody takes the time just to read something to you, rather than you having to read it from the written page. And I think
yes.
that's bringing poetry to a much wider audience. I'm sure it is today. I'm sure it.
I am certain. I mean, I'm looking around just in our own little circle and everything else. I mean,
Yeah,
you got Dwayne goes out at the weekend.
yeah.
Dwayne does a whole host of different poets from the past and everything else, yeah? And he does wonderful, wonderful, great entertainment he puts in. And I can't get to his shows all the time because he's caught on my work routine. If
Mm.
he'd done his show on a Sunday, I'd get his show on a Sunday because I'd be getting prepared for my one. But I wouldn't have got anyone's show this weekend. I didn't think I was even getting hours for a minute. But I love when Dwayne's comes around. I can look at it during the week. I can go back to it at any stage. And I love how he brings the life of the dead back into the present day. And he
He's a
does.
character.
And he does
He's a
brilliant. He's
character.
a great character. Absolute great character.
He is, yeah, yeah, he really is.
Ah, but there are quite a few now starting to do their own spoken word videos and everything else. Yeah,
Great.
and it's like you said, Christine. It's attainable now. You can stick a pair of earphones in and just listen to it. You don't have to do nothing. Just press a button and it's done. And
Yeah,
somebody is reading to you.
yeah. It's
That's really
lovely.
fantastic.
It is.
Trish McCall, thank you so much for your poem. And it's great to have a new poet on. And Christine, you read that beautifully. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I want to read something from our very, very own lovely Tracy Woodhead, if I may. And it's called
Yes.
Old Time Lovers. This is lovely. This is so sweet. So, as sweet as Tracy is.
Aw.
Strolling hands held under the moon's glow, the pavement's a stage for a romantic show. They walk and chat this way every day, as she never fails to be the one to meet him on his way home. They are best friends, destined by some invisible powers. She's 62 and he's 62. She's 60 and he's 62. Yet together they are only in their teens. Not a single dismay of his mind has she ever failed to comfort. Not a single fear of hers has he ever left without protection. All who see their daily strolls look to them with great affection, these old-time lovers. They knew they could make the distance, and they are. He is her queen of hearts, and she will always be his queen. Together they live within the beautiful glow of each other's love, forever, unbreakable. Her skin and his own aged and wrinkled, yet lays in perfection in each other's view. They are awe-inspiring, not because of wealth, nor due to position, simply their dedication to each other's constantly, from one day's beginning to its fall. Do they, I wonder, know they are the perfect definition of love's perfect condition? These friends, these souls entwined, my inspiration of dreams.
Oh, you said that was beautiful, and by God, you were right. That
Sweet.
is, do you know what? I think fellas don't talk about things like this as much as the girls do. And I don't care who the fella is or what the fella is. We have these kind of thoughts in our mind of perfection and the perfect love and the perfect soulmate and everything else. Yes, we do. Come on, lads, wake up. Smell the
Of course
coffee.
I do. I hope so, anyway.
Yeah, but very few admit it, you know. But yes, the way Tracy puts that one together, the visuals in it, the scenery in the wording itself of a couple, and again back to Nina, speaking to Nina on the phone the other day. We were talking about poems we had written, more prose than anything else, non-realistic, whatever. But I done one that was about a couple in the town centre where I live, and the lady was in a wheelchair, and they were both late 60s, early 70s, and he was pushing the wheelchair. And they were going to a bank machine. It's one of the most beautiful scenes I've seen in my life. I had to write a poem about it. Um, and they go to the bank machine, and he stops the wheelchair, puts the brake on, and she had a blanket on her lap, and he tightened the blanket and tucked it in and kissed her on the cheek.
Yeah.
He goes to the bank machine, gets his cash, comes back, tucks the blanket again, and she kisses him on the cheek. And then they went up the street.
Sweet,
And
no?
I sat there mesmerized, absolutely mesmerized.
They're
And I
beautiful.
must have looked like a perv. I got my note. I was sitting there with it. I was actually in town to buy some A4 copybooks. That's why I was in town. And I sat there with my. I ran over to the pound shop actually when I seen these two, and I got the pads and pens, and I sat down on the bench and I wrote about these two people. I've never seen them again, Christine,
Mm. No,
but I don't think I would ever need to see them again. The impact was just instant. It was absolutely
actually.
brilliant.
Mm.
And
It's just,
there's our young Tracy able to write stuff like this, eh?
yeah, yeah. Sweet, isn't it?
Wow.
So lovely.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Tracy.
Quite.
Again, you're bringing so much life into this poetry here.
She is, bless her heart. She did well. And the next one I want to read is from Alexander Rodriguez, and it's called Keep the Faith. He has a split personality. Daily he fights not to let anyone what ails him see. Various times because of it, he on crossroads in his life does hit. To clarify in his mind who he is, he does strive. His two personalities at different results do arrive. One wants to spread love among all humanity, while the other into satanic world makes him see. Temptation is the devil's biggest joy. It is a superhuman effort, resistance to employ. In fear to be looked upon as devious and bad, he never a word about it to even a friend had said. Ultimately, and luckily, put itself under God's spell, prays God will conquer the devil's power from hell. Good in the end over bad will win. God knows the one who, against their own will, sin.
Good God, Christine, that sounds like me.
You identify,
Wow.
yeah?
Wow. What can I say? Wow.
Mm.
That was
You,
so different.
mm.
So different. So deep, isn't it?
You identify with that one, do you? Yeah?
I do, yeah. I do, yeah. I'm a Gemini, split personality, yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Interesting, yeah?
Very,
In-
very, that's a very thought-provoking poem, that is. Yeah. Very thought, yeah. Good God. I gotta go and have a look at myself. Wow.
There's a lovely one I like here from Eva Marie Cagley called The Blue Jay. And I think this is very, very, very pretty. I like this very much. So let's go for this one.
Brilliant.
Sometimes I feel the colour blue, like the blue jay. I yearn to just fly away on the wings of my imagination, gliding in the wind, not paying a mind to which direction I might be going, just going with the flow, feeling the cool wind slapping my face, sending a cool shiver down my spine. Oh, if I could be a bully like the blue jay and speak my mind and say what I want to say. But I'm much more like the sparrow, and my colour is more yellow, like a tiny finch. Afraid of my own shadow, it seems, hiding away within my dreams, imagining I'm outside looking in, when all along I'm inside looking out, a tiny sparrow peeking from its nest. Glad that winter has been put to rest, another test along life's endless skyway, looking for a place to hide away within my straw emptiness, safe from other birds of prey. I isolate here, and I've forgotten how to play. I chirp a message to you, carrying a tune across the miles, hoping to reach you with the melody of my soul, to open you up and swallow you whole. I need for you to search for me, around the house and up in the old maple tree, there in the crevice of two branches, where two once built a nest.
Tracy Woodhead brought this poem to my attention the other night.
Okay.
After you'd read it in one of the groups, yeah? And she said to me,
Yes.
have you read Eva's poem? And I haven't seen very much of Eva's or many of the other poets I had written with at the Poets Attic. I don't see much of the poetry now. I don't see very much of the poetry. Jeannie Kirchin, another beautiful writer, and Bonnie Jennings. I don't see any of these poets' works very much anymore. And Eva's seemingly was in a group called, I think it was Poets Corner Poetry Group. And Tracy brought it to my attention. And I said, she sent me a screenshot of it. And I had a read through it. And I left it for a few minutes and I read it again. And I thought, wow, I've got to get this on the show. But to contact, thank goodness, Eve is on my friends list. So I was able to contact Eva, yeah? And ask Eva could come on the show. And she very, very willingly told me, yes, no problem for Christine to read it. And the permissions, which we always do. We'll always ask permission before we read a poet's poem, yeah? And she gladly, and I'm glad she did, because that is, I love, and I've said this before again, Christine, I love when somebody who writes can write for the bird, the dog, the monkey, whatever. They can write for the creature, because I'm sure the creatures could pick up pens and do what we do. We would be amazed at what they could write. Really and truly. And the detail in the poem itself of the Blue Jay, I'm delighted. That's the dear John that got the pleasure of being able to bring it live out there. And Eva Marie, thanks a million. Really, really, I'm delighted you've sent us it. You've given us the permissions for this one. Absolutely delighted.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And Christine, that was a brilliant read again. An absolutely brilliant read.
Lovely piece. Very enjoyable piece. So now we're coming to our sticky subject. We now have an erotic poem. And I know you and I have both spoken about this, John, and I think we both feel that we want to address the group to see what their opinion is about presenting erotic poetry here. You know, I have no objection to reading erotic poetry, none at all. I love erotic poetry. I think it's another genre that is very beautiful and very purposeful. But I think we need to get the feeling of other people on the group, whether we should include this sort of poetry on this group, or whether it's whether people are rejecting this. So please give your feedback on this, all of you, how you feel about presenting erotic poetry. We're not talking here about pornography. I have no desire to read anything pornographic or disrespectful or insulting in any way. I'm not prepared to read anything like that. But I think creative poetry in an erotic nature is another genre of poetry that could well be presented. This may not be the platform for that. So please, I think in speaking for myself and for John, give your feedback here and tell us what you think, whether this poetry is welcome here. We've had one from me a while back now and one from Angela last week, you know, and I've got one from Nina Tilo this week that I would like to read.
Well,
And I've also added one of mine just to support Nina in this field, you know, afterwards, if anybody wants to hear that. Mine's a comic erotic genre, but just to support Nina, I've added one of my own here as well. But please give your feedback here, you guys, what you feel about this. If you now want to turn off your microphones, this poem does have a little bit of erotic in it from Nina Tilo. It's sort of, for me, it's sort of like scenes of Shades of Grey, you know, 50 Shades of Grey, that's also been made into a film. There's nothing untoward about this at all.
That sold 50 million copies, didn't it?
Exactly.
If not more. Yeah.
A film has been made of it. I don't particularly like the film. I don't think it's a particularly good film, but the book was, you know, interesting. You know,
Yes.
this poem is similar to that, I think. It has elements of that in it. But if anybody feels offended or doesn't want to listen to erotic poetry, now is the time to turn off your microphone.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
So please turn off your mics if you don't want to listen to this. But we are going to present it this evening and welcome your feedback for future shows, whether we should include poetry like this or not. You know, I think John and I both would welcome your opinions, wouldn't we?
Most certainly, Christine. And thank you so much for bringing it so forward to the group itself, because without the group, we don't have the show. And
Exactly.
giving them the wrong thing is not the right thing for the show.
Absolutely not.
So it is totally down to the group itself. No matter what I decide, nobody's going to be annoyed at a decision. That's why we're asking the question. So they can make that decision themselves. This show was made for their enjoyment.
Yeah.
So what they enjoy is exactly what they get. They're the ones that have created and made it where it's going. We've all put in a piece together, so we all count equal.
Yeah. And having reviewed Nina, I mean, what a wonderful person, lovely person, great poet. I think she's very, very talented. And this just shows a completely another side of her imagination and her wonderful field of imagination. So I'm delighted to read this erotic poem from Nina Tilo.
Thank you, Christine.
My lover, my enigma. As a means to heighten senses, have my body on alert. With a silk tie he will blindfold, pull it tight, but not to hurt. Now my eyesight taken from me, knowing not what he'll do next, I stand, waiting at his leisure, my heart throbbing at my chest. I can sense his movement round me, hear his breath catch by my ear. How I ache for him to touch me, knowing pleasure is so near. I can taste him without contact, his raw sexual scent excites, as he grazes down my neckline, marking skin beneath his bites. With his fingers tracing after, where his mouth has burned a course, I am arching in towards him, begging, take me, I am yours. But he knows what he is doing, never giving in to please. We will both get gratification, his control, an expert tease. He will work me to a frenzy, I will lose all self-control. He knows where and when to touch me. He's the master I extol. He denies me or permits me full enjoyment by command. I am slave obeying orders, though I yearn his reprimand. I respond to his caresses with a wolf-like guttural moan. When he knows I'm getting nearer, he will answer with a groan. For his pleasure is my pleasure. My enjoyment is his thrill. As he brings us both to climax, we are carnal, boundaries nil. I know nothing of my lover, save he makes me come undone. I am not allowed to see him, cannot look until he's gone. As we meet in dark seclusion, bound by lust which must be slaked, we care not for earthly details, as euphoria awaits.
And that is erotica in rhyme. It's art. It doesn't matter what paintbrush you pick up or what colours you use. It's art. It's art form. It's expressive.
Absolutely.
Everything in life has an expression, no matter what it's going to be. And like Charlotte said there a little bit up on the comments, so long as it's not too explicit. But I think you explained that very well, Christine. There will be nothing explicit, as in explicit, or close on porn or anything else. But I'm going to be honest, as a bloke, listening to that poem is absolutely a wonderful piece.
Yeah.
Not because it's Nina Thilo or anybody else, because it was written in the way it was written.
Yeah.
Listen, we're all adults, we've all had relationships. Some of them end bad, but there were always some good times with it. And the expressions of this kind of poetry, I couldn't find offence, even if I went seeking it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's an expressive art, and that was just beautiful. To hear it in the rhyme as well was absolutely unbelievable.
I feel the same. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's very well written. It's very well constructed, and there's nothing offensive in there at all. Nothing at all, as far as I'm concerned. But other people may feel differently. It is a touchy issue, When we're just discussing the subject of sex, it is a difficult issue that some people don't want to hear or want to share in. So the feedback needs to come, I think,
Doesn't it come back to that little three-letter word, sex? It
Yes.
always leads back to sex, because, wow, sex is just like a cup of tea. You like it or you don't like it. You perform it or you don't perform it. It's cannot be just looked at as sex in many, many, many ways.
Yeah.
Wow. Unreal. Honest to God, absolutely unreal. But to put it across the way you've put it across there, Christine, I'm going to have to plug in as well while I'm talking to you. To put it across the way you've just put it across now in Nina's words, I absolutely enjoyed the whole piece. I've got to do this. I'm sorry, guys, the camera's going to look funny for a minute, but if I don't find the plug hole, it's going to go off. I think that's it. I think I'm plugged in now.
You are.
Yeah.
You plugged in.
I was down to 5%. I'm even talking me battery to death.
Interesting.
We'll get the feedback. I will go through this, and I'm sure you will too, Christine, later on with the
I will, yes.
with the comments.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. And
And I agree with Charlotte. There's a difference between sex and making love. Of course there is.
yes,
Definitely.
there is. Yeah.
Of course there is.
But just to support Nina on this, I thought I'd read one of my poems, also an erotic poem, if you permit me.
Of course, yes.
And this is in the comic erotic genre, so it's quite different, completely different. It's very short and sweet, but there is the word penis in this, so some people might feel offended by exactly.
Facebook will close us down, that's it.
I know. So, just to support Nina in her quest of erotic poetry, and I love erotic poetry, I think it's wonderful if it's well written. This is not a particularly great poem, it's a fun poem, and it should be funny. So I hope people will laugh and not feel offended. It's called in praise of waning manhood.
Intriguing.
Dear penis, you should raise your head at the adoration you receive and be proud. But isn't pride considered to be evil? Is that why your head remains bowed? Dear penis, what a silly worrier you are, not much confidence at all. Sometimes I feel the lift you get, yet when you feel that I notice, you fall. Dear penis, quite a little fellow you are to create such a fuss for so many. What do you get out of the deal in return? Very little reward, it seems, if indeed any. Dear penis, what can mere woman do to convince you that you really are a hell of a nice guy? And the only thing inhibiting your expertise is that you appear to be too damn shy.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Are we making you blush tonight, John?
Oh, do you know what? Absolutely fantastic. Look at the colour of me, for God's sake. You think I'm out being on the beach?
It was our intention to make you blush tonight, John, so there you go.
My
We girls
God,
have been
Christine.
working against you.
It's worked a treat. Look at me. I'm like a plum. Good God Almighty. That was just fantastic. That was just fantastic. Now, you know, I call that erotic. No problem.
Well, I hope people will see it in the innocent light that it's meant. It's not to
Of
be
course.
anything awful, you know. It's a different form of erotica, but it is erotic, and it's an observation, you know.
Exactly, yes.
Let's see what the feedback is, John, and see how we want to proceed with this, whether it's rejected
Yeah.
or if it's acceptable on occasions, you know. A new
Yeah.
genre.
I mean, we could do. We'll see what the feedback is, but just
Yeah.
as a prelude to the feedback, I suppose. As you said, we could do maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can have one of the nights where we have erotica. And like, guys, I'll make this very, very clear, and I'll reiterate what Christine has just said, and I'll actually add a little piece onto it, Christine. We will actually, in a sense, censor the poetry you send in erotica. Because
Absolutely.
there is no way I will have somebody on reading something that the group disagrees with, and there's no way I would send something to Christine that I would find offensive to do so. So, it's your choice, guys. You want it on. We will, the best between the two of us, censor what is applicable and what is not. And I'll
Yeah.
let you know straight away. I'm sorry your poem ain't gonna be on the show. And that will be the top and bottom line. And I'm not here to displease you for writing. I'm not here to knock your poetry. But if I feel it's not suitable for our audience, I ain't putting it on.
Exactly. And I'm with you on that, John, 100%.
Thank you so much, Christine.
Mm.
Well, you know, what a brilliant poem to take us out on. What an absolutely brilliant poem to
Hope
take
it's made
us
me
out
laugh.
on. God almighty. So that's what's been wrong with me all my life. Now I know. Oh
Well,
God.
I
That's that split personality.
hope it makes people smile anyway. You know, it was
Oh, Christine, you've got them all laughing at you. You want to see some of the comments? You'll see them later. Absolutely magnificent.
okay. Good.
Absolutely brilliant. Oh, what a delight. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks a million. That's made my night after such a long day. I've been up since 4:30 this morning, so after such a long day, wow. And I get the pleasure now of putting my earphones in and re-listening to the show while I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
Wow, this is going to be magic. And I can blush under the duvet on my own.
You
Nobody
can.
can see me blushing. Yeah, exactly. My God, Emma, look at the colour. Oh God, I need to get me pressure tablets out now.
Nina and I have been ganging up against you so to make you blush.
Oh, thanks a million. Do you know what? Where would I be without you guys? Oh, Christine, it's been a pleasure again. I look so forward to this time of the week. I really and truly do. And having you
Yeah,
there and having a read and a nice banter with you. Absolutely look so forward to this. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
John. It's a lovely time. Lovely to spend time with these wonderful people and their beautiful poetry. Really, they're
But thank
amazing.
you so much for waiting back for tonight's show for me. I didn't know what was going to happen. They just changed it at the last minute, yeah?
Mm.
Absolutely. And I thought, I'm not going to make this 8:30. I mean, I literally got everything set up 6 minutes before the show. I got back from Manchester straight to the flat, bumped straight onto it, yeah? I
But you can
don't
see
ever
how,
want to miss one. I don't
you,
ever want to miss one. I really and truly don't.
you can see how many people have come in though. They've all accepted it, so it's fine. You know, it's
Yeah,
wonderful. If we're here, we'll come in. You know, and join you. So great, no
exactly, yeah.
problem.
It did well. This is for building. This is building a community, building friendships, building
Yep,
the interest and the sharing of the poetry. Why sit down and write poems if nobody outside of your book is going to hear them or
absolutely.
get pleasure from them or whatever? Yeah,
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
no, we're doing a good job, I think, getting people out
I
there, getting
think,
them out there.
yeah, and you can see by the way the poetry is coming in, Christine. Um, the poets are really getting involved now. They really and truly are getting involved now. And I'm glad it's about time they rose up. They've been
And
under rocks for long enough.
and they're coming on live now, which is great. Nina's come on
Yeah,
tonight. It's brilliant. It's so
yeah.
lovely. It was great to see her. Wonderful,
And
Nina.
that's why I said to you a couple of weeks ago when you said to me you like staying in the background. I mean,
Yes,
we need
yes,
people in the foreground to show the other people. Come out. Come
yep,
forward. Show yourself. You're not a keyboard warrior. You're an actual person.
yeah,
So show people. Oh, we got a lot of angry faces coming in. Oh my God, somebody is angry. Oh, identify yourself. Who's that angry? My God, Christine, have a look at this. About
but
2 million, 2,300,000. All these angry faces are coming in.
angry faces. Oh
Oh,
dear. Oh
yeah,
dear.
all angry faces. But they're
Have we
coming from the
offended,
one person, whoever it is anyway, because they're just multiple, multiple, multiple.
have we offended somebody?
Oh,
Have we offended?
oh. Well, we must have. Well, I mean, probably somebody with an ego.
Have, we've
I'm
offended somebody.
sorry.
Well, we'll see. We'll see
No.
what. That's
Listen, we
why.
don't we don't set out to cause offence. Like I said before, it's an art.
That's
And if
why
you
we
can't
put it
accept
out.
art for being art, maybe you're on the wrong show. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I will
Yeah.
be abrupt when I need to be abrupt. I mean, I am a nice guy, really, but I will be
Yeah.
abrupt when I need to be abrupt. Yeah?
Yeah. We'll see what happens, Sean. Let the flow go with the
Yes.
flow and see what happens. And we put it out there, and we'll see how the reaction is. And if it's negative, then we don't do erotic poetry. It's as simple as that, isn't it? So
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. I'm gonna I'll find out on the recorded side who it was that was angry because it'll give the name to who's gone up with it then. I just don't
yes,
get the name now attached to it.
we'll see. It's
Oh,
open.
Paul, sorry I couldn't get you on, buddy. Tried me hard though, and I hope it works next time round. Let me know when you're available, Paul. It's every Sunday for the show. Thanks a million, Paul. And I would have loved Paul's poem to be on tonight. I tried 3 or 4 times, but it didn't connect. We done everything we possibly could. Christine, have a lovely week ahead.
You too, my dear.
Thank you for the beautiful night of reading again.
You're very welcome.
Oh, magic. You take care. And listen, don't take those angry faces for anything. They've come from one person, unidentified, like I said. And if that one person wants to go and watch another show, I'm fine. I've got hundreds and hundreds of people who want to come to the show.
I've lived a long life, John. I won't be offended by some
No, me
person offending.
either. I've gone past the
I've lived,
offensive side of
yes,
things.
I've lived too long and experienced too much to be worried about things like that. But I think for our group, it was necessary that we spoke about it, and we want their feedback. That's what's important to us, to our listeners.
Exactly.
If they're
Well,
people,
Dwayne has just sent me a message there, sent us a message to the show. Well,
yeah,
I'm not one for this type of poetry, but I can live with it, so no problem. It's
yeah,
not pornographic, so fine. And
yeah,
it's exactly. It's. I said it before, Christine. I think I said on the show, the last show. Um, it's trying to practically educate people as to what proper. What's it called again?
well,
What's the name? What's the
erotic
erotic?
poetry.
Yeah. Educating people on what erotic poetry actually is. It's not pornography. And
No,
if we thought it was pornographic or anything in it was pornographic, it wouldn't be on. It wouldn't be accepted. Top and
no.
bottom line.
It's love poetry in a way. It's
Yes.
connected to love poetry and different
Yes.
aspects. It's just a higher dimension, maybe, or I don't know, but definitely not to be feared or rejected, in my opinion. But we'll see what feels. We'll see.
We'll see exactly. Yes. Too true. So we will go through the show on the recorded as we go along the week. We'll see
Yeah.
what the whole thing is.
What the
And
feedback?
if it comes back in a positive, we will have our once a month erotic poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Good. Okay.
So enjoy the rest of the night, what's left of it.
Not much left of it.
There's not very much left of it. Enjoy the rest of the night, Christine, and thanks a million once again for coming in with me and giving us everything for me again tonight. All the soul. You're an
You are,
absolute star. You're my
you,
angel.
you are
Thanks
most
a million.
welcome, beautiful John. You're very welcome. It's been
Oh,
and thank you to Nina for coming on too. It was great to see her live.
yes.
Great that
Absolutely brilliant.
she's to come. Great.
I'm just glad she didn't bring the core. It was nice actually speaking to her face to face instead of behind the curtain. Wow,
Yes.
that kills me.
Great poet. I like her work very, very much. Yeah.
Very much myself as well, yeah. Because she is that diverse.
Yeah.
She has
She is.
so many different genres to go through. It's brilliant. Chop and
Absolutely.
change on a whim.
Wonderful. Yeah. I
Oh,
agree.
Christine, have a great week ahead.
You too. See you
Enjoy the
next week.
school. Say?
See you next week.
Yes. Are you with me next week again, yeah?
Yes. Are you
Beautiful,
not?
that's brilliant, yeah. Next week we should be back to the time as normal for
Okay.
next week, yeah? But just
Okay.
I'm looking at this tonight. I know it's late, but I mean the crowd was much bigger, wasn't it?
Yeah, it will be late night, I think. Yeah, but
Gonna keep us up all night, Christine, yeah?
yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I'll
Okay,
see you
love.
Sunday. I'll send you the emails as I get them, yeah? I'll send them
Okay,
straight over to you.
no
Christine,
problem.
thanks a million once again. Have a great week.
You
Good night and
too.
God bless.
Bye. Goodbye,
See you
everybody.
Sunday.
Send us your comments.
Bye.
Bye.
There's the wonderful Christine Barker again, bringing the soul to poetry for us once more. Oh, guys, I hope you have a good discussion among yourselves on what Christine and I have just said about the erotic poetry. As I said in the middle of it all, I will only bring to this show exactly what the majority want on the show. This is, as I said from the start, your show. I am just the host that puts the platform, sits out in the front. It is your show. So you decide what you enjoy in the show, and you decide what you don't enjoy in the show. And we will bring only what you all enjoy. Now, I did say earlier on, I had a quote for the week. There was two quotes for the week ahead. Well, let me see. Which one will I do first? Here we go. I'm going to start with a quote by Brandon
Burkhard or Burchard, something like that anyway. Dear God and universe, you show me benign things. I make time good or bad. I make them good or bad and craft my experience. I like that one. I really do, truly do. Sometimes we have nothing and we can make everything out of it. Yeah, and it's a great experience doing so, isn't it, guys? And the other one is from the late, great Albert Einstein. I like this guy, and he's got many, many quotes. I love this quote, one of the best I've heard from Einstein, actually. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. Thoughts on that one over the week, guys? Yeah, the way we think and we follow like sheeple. Maybe one day again we will be people. Who knows? But everybody out there, thank you so much for the great turnout for the Dear John show tonight. I am delighted I got back to doing it in time to get it done. I know it was late. Tracy Woodhead, Charlotte Rains, thank you for the backup out there and keeping everything running on the forefront of this show that I can't keep up with. And Christine, you are absolutely amazing. Every week something will go wrong for me and you have my back straight away. You've no idea how much I appreciate that. Dwayne Leon Rankin, do you know what? It's been a pleasure seeing you here for most of the night tonight. It really and truly has. An absolute pleasure. I've got my young lad text me on the phone while I'm on the show, and I keep telling him, well, I'll see him when I get back. I've got to get back to him now. I'm down at my own flat doing this show. But listen, guys, thanks a million for being in here tonight. I've enjoyed every single minute of the show, and I look so forward to next Sunday. I look even more forward to your feedback on erotica or on erotic poetry. Good night, God bless everybody. Oh, thank you, Angela. I love the quotes. Both quotes were quite good. I really enjoyed both of them. Have a great week ahead, everybody. I hope everybody stays safe, and I look so forward to seeing you all here next week. And before I go, I would like to say a final big, huge thank you to everybody for all the support you gave me on Facebook yesterday for the loss of our uncle, Christy Kavanagh, who died in Ireland. I'd like to give all the support to my older brother, Tommy Kavanagh, who looked after Christy all these years. Tommy, you're an absolute star, bro. And Christy, sleep peacefully with the angels. You're out of your pain and suffering now, my friend. Absolutely out of your pain and suffering. Everybody, good night and God bless. Have a great week ahead. And everybody, please stay safe. From Dear John Kavanagh, I'll see you all here next Sunday. Good night and God bless. Bye-bye.